All right, hello wine-drinking people. Today is Saturday, the 25th of October. What an incredible month we have had here. Just this week alone, 2 once-in-a-lifetime tastings, the 1982 Big 8 tasting from Bordeaux. Wow, remarkable. And then the Guy in White truffle dinner tonight. And as I always like to say, this job just keeps getting better. We just added another killer once-in-a-lifetime tasting onto the event with the owner of Vega, Sicilia winery from Ribeira del Duero, Pablo Alvarez, at one of Fort Lauderdale's top restaurants, Casa Angelo. That's right. I haven't done an event with Casa in a long time. I am excited to be back. Like I said, one of the top restaurants in South Florida. And this winery, legendary in Spain, started in the 1840s. And, well, they were making brandy back then, but each incarnation, or each person that's bought this property has brought it further and further along. And one of the first cult wines of Spain, the first cult wine of Spain. And, well, they started making these 2 wines. They're going to celebrate their 100th anniversary with Allion and, oh, I'm sorry, not with Allion, with the Valbuena and the Unico. 1915 was the first vintage of each of these wines. And the Alvarez family, since they purchased the property in 1982, they've started to add things to the resume, like bodegas, like the Oremus property in Hungary, which they bought in 1993, and then in 2001, the Allion property, or I'm sorry, the Pintia property in Toro, and just like everything else these guys have done, 92 was Allion, sorry, and then 2001, these guys released their first vintage of Pintia, but the property was bought in 1997, and they started to work on this. It took them 4 years before they released a wine, so they were one of the first people. I think Numancia was 1998 was their first vintage, but these guys got there before. They just wanted to make sure everything was perfect before they released it to the rest of the world, and that is what this winery is all about. The Unico, the current release, 2004, 10 years old before released. This is one of the legendary wines, not just of Spain, but of the world. When you look at the world's iconic wines, Bodegas Vega Sicilia is on par with the first gross of Bordeaux. I'd like to say Opus 1, but Opus has only been around since 1979. These guys right up there with the creme de la creme. And the Unico, like I said, is released after 10 years, mostly Cabernet Sauvignon, mostly Tempranillo with a little bit of Cabernet Sauvignon. The Valbuena has a little bit of Merlot in it. That's the main difference between those wines, and it is a selection of the best fruit. And the Valbuena is released after 5 years. And then this Oremus Tokai, one of the most complex wines in the dessert category that you will find. We're also going to show their dry white made from the ferment varietal. And like I said, just an incredible menu. We have the owner to tell you the story about this legendary property, Pablo Alvarez. Hey, I don't go out very often on Monday night. I always like to say, unless the Pope is in town and or royalty from Spain. So Monday, November 3rd, check it out. All the wines are going to be serving from these 2 legendary properties. I'm sorry, 2. We've got Allion, which is a separate property, Pintia, which is a separate property, Oremus, and Vega Sicilia. So 4 different properties owned by the Alvarez family. Should be a night to remember. Check it out. November 3rd. I'm your host, Andrew Lamposoni, signing off for the Wine Watch, saying remember, always drink the good stuff first.